So guys, Jerry Norton is doing a freedom event this weekend in Arizona. I don't know how many people are going to that. There's going to be some speakers. So he's flying all day today. So he's asked me just to take over for the call and help him out. So today I'll be chatting with you guys and answering any questions. So what we're going to do on this call today is I'm going to open it up to just any answers or any questions I can answer. And then I'm going to teach you guys how I comp and analyze the deals, whether it's to determine whether it's a creative financing, whether it's a fix and flip, a wholesale. I'm going to show you guys my process and hopefully teach you guys, how to work with sellers and how to know what to offer people. Okay. Go to investorthrive.com right now to check out some of our free training on how you can make money as a real estate investor, or schedule a time with me so we can chat about our mastermind mentorship and how we can help you learn how to wholesale nationwide and grow your business.
I agreed with one of my agents to list our property for a flat fee.
Okay.
So, and my agent is asking me, what is the commission you are offering a buyer agent? What would you recommend? It's in Oklahoma.
It's a good question. Okay. We have not done any deals in Oklahoma recently, but I would do a 2.5% commission to the buyer's agent. Usually industry average is like 3%. That's usually what it is, but we've actually gone away with 2% and 2.5. I would start with 2.5 or maybe 2 or 2.5 if you want to save a couple $1,000. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, that's what we thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
2.5.
All right, thank you.
2.5. I wish you could do 1, but they got to bring their buyers.
I guess they don't do it for free.
Yeah, they won't show anybody if it's, the commissions are low. All right, so let's just hop right into it, everybody. I think enough people are on this call, and we can just hop in. And so, again, guys, if you didn't hear me earlier already, this is Jerry is going to be an event this weekend in Arizona, so he's flying all day today to get to Arizona. So he's asked me to help him out. My goal is to help you guys learn something today. I feel like sometimes we just hop on the call with me and I just answer questions. But so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you how I analyze deals with either what should I wholesale it? Should I do novation, do a fix and flip, wholesale, like how creative financing? I'm going to show you how I analyze deals and work with sellers. And I'm going to show you that after I answer any questions people have in the beginning. So let's start in the chat box. Just, let's start with some questions. And then after everybody's kind of done, I'll go right into like teaching a short lesson on how to analyze deals. So does anybody have anything? I think I saw one. Heath Sims said, can I ask you a quick question about offers?
Yeah. Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah. Well, hey, I want to start making more offers. Sorry, my voice is a little rough. I've been using Jerry's double dip technique, trying to get a hold of agents and go through all that. But I find now that some offers come up and they're just getting overwhelmed. They don't even take calls anymore. They're just like, submit your best offer, by this date. So what is the best way to submit offers like that?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like the way the market is right now, like you really just have to get them on the phone, because if you just submit a low offer, the chances of it getting accepted is going to be, it's going to be super low, right? So if you can't get these agents on the phone, it's going to be hard to get your deal accepted, right? Because it's about developing the relationship and not only just winning, this deal, but making the relationship with the agent so you can network in the future. So what we do is we submit the offer anyway. Like, even if we can't get a hold of them, we've tried, like, we'll submit it. And we've networked with the real estate agent. We're not licensed. So we've networked with the real estate agent in our market where he submits the deals for us, and he actually writes it out on the real estate purchase contract, like of Utah. So it's like the agents that they get our offers, they have to respond because it's coming from a real estate agent. They don't have, they're like obligated to respond and say yes or no. But sometimes with you guys, if you just call and make an offer and you're not an agent, and you're just making a verbal, they can just choose to never talk to you again. So
I didn't know that.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So to answer your question is, if you can't get them on the phone, and you're trying your best, you can just submit an offer and follow up. But what we've done to overcome that is we'll submit the offer through a real estate agent, and he'll write up the agreement, and then we'll pay him a commission like of 1% or 2% or whatever we agree on. He'll actually represent us, but that's the way to get through this, is do it through an agent. I know Jerry teaches double dip, which is good. I'm just saying for the ones that
Yeah,
don't
it's just
respond to you.
sometimes it's not possible, So you
Yeah.
just can't get them on the phone and start using that technique.
So we've developed a
Okay.
system in my company where we do our CRM. Hey, is that is that you with the kids in the background, or I just hear a lot of like
Oh, yeah. Is it
Okay.
loud?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. I just didn't know if someone else was on.
Yeah, no, that's me. Sorry.
So what we've done is we developed a system in our CRM where we'll automatically fill out a contract and it will get sent by that agent. So we've systematized the process of doing that. But that's like, you need a CRM for that. It goes a little deeper. But to answer your question for now, make the offer, talk to the agent. If you can't get a hold of them, make the offer or network with an agent that can submit offers for you and pay them a commission.
Okay. I'll try that.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the markets are just so I find now that they're actually putting houses up, and they're listed a bit low, and it's like they want to just get a bunch of offers. And
Hey, I mean, that's what it's like everywhere in any major metro in the United States right now. I don't, wherever you are, that's the name of the game. So who's winning are the people that are making the offers no matter what, and they're making a lot of them.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Thanks.
All right, Carlos, you said you have a couple questions. What's up?
Can you hear me?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is I was watching other wholesaler YouTube videos, and when they ask how much the seller's offering, they'll come back at them saying, well, how much are you gonna offer me? Is there a way to, obviously, we can't give out the price first. Is there a way to turn that question back at them? Is there like,
So repeat that again. Who's asking the question?
okay, so the wholesaler, when they cold call, they would ask them about the asking price, right, from the seller.
To the seller. Okay. They say, hey, what do you want for your house?
Yeah, and then the seller will come back at them saying, well, how much are you going to offer to me? Obviously, we can't, us wholesalers as beginners, we can't give out the price first. So is there a way to turn the question around to them?
100%. But let me ask you, what do you do? I just want to know what you do in that situation. The seller says, well, I don't know. What are you offering me? What do you say?
I was watching a video when I saw that. I would ask him about the condition of the property, ask him more.
100%. So let's role play it. I'll say, hey, Mr. Seller, how you doing? I was calling about the house on 123 Street. I was wondering if you're selling it. And then you'll be
yes.
the seller. Oh, you are selling? Great.
Yes, I'm interested.
Awesome. Well, you have some time. I could ask you some questions about the property to see what I could offer you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then I would start going into questions about the properties, but you're saying
Right.
immediately they're saying, well, what are you offering?
Yeah.
So say, what are you offering?
What are you offering?
That's a really good question. It really all depends on the condition of the property. I'd really have to just ask you some questions so I understand what I can offer.
Okay. All right.
And then then if they're like, no, just make me an offer. Give me some more give me some more obstacles or objections. Say, no, just tell me your offer.
No, just tell me your offer.
Sir, I'd love to make you an offer, but I mean, I really don't know what I can pay for the house. I need to know, when's the last time it was updated. I mean, if it's brand new, obviously I can pay you higher than what if I need to do some updates. So is it, sir, I know I called you probably out of the blue at a random time, but do you have about 5 minutes that we could chat? Like, are you okay to talk right now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm just going to ask some questions, and then by the end of this call, I'd like to see what I can offer you. So the thing is, like, a lot of this business is sales and communication, because, half the time we're calling people and we're saying randomly, we don't know them, and we're like, hey, are you selling? And they're like, yeah, like, what, make me an offer. And it's like, hey, I understand that I might be bothering you, but I am looking for houses to buy. I'm an investor in the area. Do you have 5 or 10 minutes that I could ask some questions? Okay. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Well, first of all, Mr. Seller, I know this was a random phone call for you. Were you thinking about selling before I called you? Or is this, or is this just, are you just entertaining me because I called? Oh, I'm just talking to you because you called. I have no intentions of selling this house. Then I'd say, oh, okay, well, I don't want to waste your time, but if I were to give you an offer, like, would you sell? And if they're like, no, not at all, be like, okay, well, no need to talk. So just understand when you're talking to like marketing and doing the cold calling or texting, like you're talking to random people. You got to ask for their permission. You got to like, see, have you been thinking about selling? I mean, one thing everybody needs to know in this call is you can't make a seller, anyone sell, especially at a discounted price. Like there's gotta be motivation. They had to be thinking about it. There like tons of stuff, right? But did that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My second one is about the proof of funds for, I haven't done any deals yet, but I am bird dogging around my area. Do I need a proof of funds for the end buyer? And do I
Not at
need
all.
one? No?
So you are, when you're wholesaling, you are the buyer. You're the buyer, right? The end buyer, he'll probably have his proof funds. But when you talk, let's say you talk to me and you say, Nate, I'm going to buy your house. I say, okay, great. I need some proof of funds to know you're legit. You would need to send me proof of funds for me to believe, or I guess in the situation for me to believe that you're legit. So yes, you're gonna need some proof of funds. We barely have to send people proof of funds because we're so credible on the phones. Like we know what we're doing. We have like company emails. We send like credibility packets. Like we make ourselves seem so legit. We are legit. We're so legit to the seller that they never question, why we're calling from a different state, or why we don't need to see the house in person until we get under contract. Like all those things are things people worry about. They're not a big deal if you can show that you're credible.
Okay. And what can I get one of those proof of funds?
So in Jerry's flipping mastery, no,
Okay.
it's either in flipping mastery or it's in Flipster that he provides proof of funds.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's it for now.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Oscar. Yeah, anytime, man. Oscar and Rebecca said it's in Flipster. Yeah, it's in Flipster.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions, everybody? I want to make sure I answer any questions before I go into my lesson.
I've got one.
Go ahead. What's up?
So I've done a lot of homework on the finding deals, analyzing, and the offers, but once an offer gets accepted, that's where I get a little bit lost. So my question is, if I'm wholesaling and I have to find a buyer, how do I lock them into it? What's to prevent them from canceling out on me? Is it just because
the buyer or the seller?
my buyer?
So what you do is once you have the property under contract, you're contractually obligated to buy the house, or, you have to cancel within your due diligence period. Once you find the end buyer, you use an assignment agreement to assign your rights to purchase the property to that buyer. And then that they are taking ownership of that contract. And they're then, what's going to keep them from backing out is you get earnest money from them. You get some money from them saying that they're good for it. So when we do a wholesale deal, we'll say, all right, Mr. End buyer, you want this house? Put $5,000 down at the title company that we're closing with within the next, today, by the end of the day. Once they sign, they put the earnest money down. If they did not put the earnest money down saying that they're good for it, then our contract says if the buyer doesn't put his money down by this, it's not legit.
Well, I have my earnest money that I put down too, though, don't I?
Yep. Yeah. So
So what happens to my?
So you have a contract with the seller, right?
Uh-huh.
There's earnest money on that contract.
Uh-huh.
Then you are assigning the deal to a buyer, and in that assignment agreement is like a clause or a statement that says earnest money for the end buyer. So he'll put money down as well. So there's going to be 2 separate ones.
2 earnest monies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he can apply that earnest money towards you can even use their earnest money if you find the buyer quick enough for your earnest money, if you want, like,
Okay. And then they,
that's how you keep it legit.
sorry, I
Like,
forgot the next
you know,
question.
you don't want to have a buyer who's like, I'm not going to put any earnest money down. I'd be like, bro, then you're not legit. Get
Right.
out of here.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then you could even ask for more earnest money than what I put down, I
Oh,
suppose as well.
all
You
the
probably
time.
ought to.
100% we do that. We usually do $100 to $500 max, usually for earnest
Really?
money. We've done $10
That's it.
before.
Gee, okay. I have an offer supposedly between me and one other person. They're supposed to let me know this afternoon. So if it gets accepted, it'd be my first one. So then I'd have to get finding all the other stuff after that. So
Yeah, no problem. If you need help
Okay.
JVing a deal once you have it under contract, which means if you need help
What is-
selling it to a buyer, hit me up. I JV with people all the time, which means I'll find the buyer for you and then we'll split the deal.
Okay. Your background there looks awfully familiar. Looks
Yeah,
like
I'm
you're
in
the
Salt Lake
south
City,
of the,
Utah.
always at that. Okay.
Yeah. Do you,
I'm in
what-
Orem, so.
oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'm
Uh,
actually in Lehigh, so.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So yeah, if you get some under contract, let me know. I can help. If not, then Jerry, I mean, sure teaches how to find buyers, how to find end buyers. But if you need help, we got hundreds, thousands of buyers here in Salt Lake, in Utah. All right. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, I got one. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
So I just started on Flipster yesterday, and
Oh.
I was going through it, and down here in my local market, and I found a couple of deals I want to make a move on. The only problem is on the software where it has the owner's name and everything. It doesn't have any email or phone numbers. What's the best way to get in contact with them that way, since it's not provided?
I'm not exactly 100% sure how to use it in Flipster. I use different software services to skip trace lists and skip trace information. So skip tracing is how you do it. Like, I think Flipster will give you the name of the owner or whatever. But if you want to skip trace it, which provides you emails, phone numbers, that's something you'd have to do. I think you have some credits in Flipster that you can use to skip trace too.
Okay.
As
I
part of the program.
looked in the credit section and said I didn't have any.
Okay. Well, you probably have to get some credits, but
All right.
there's a couple different services that we use. Because I do heavy skip tracing and pull lists, I have to use different software.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anytime. Anybody else? Any other questions before we move on? You can just talk if you want, or you can just type it in the question, the chat box, and I can answer you.
I have a question. This is Natasha.
Hi, Natasha. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. Found a property. It's not on the market, and but we trying to find. So it's not represented by any realtor from since 2018. So we're trying to find the owner.
Okay.
So how do we do that from scratch?
So do you have the address?
I do.
Okay. So let me see really quick. Okay. So there's a couple different services that do single skip tracing.
Okay, just with the address.
Well, okay. So you don't know the homeowner's name. Is that an issue?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me show you something.
There's an abandoned building right on the side of a major highway. But
Let's see.
I didn't want to call the last real estate company because I didn't want them to start to actively look to have it back on market.
Yeah, I hear you. REI, where is it? REI Automator. Okay, so there's I use two services. It's called Batch Leads and also Propstream.
Batch leads. Okay.
Yeah, do you have either one of those?
No.
All right, so they both work well, and I can send you the link if you're interested.
Yes, please.
It's like a 7-day free trial.
Okay.
And they actually give you like 5,000 free leads to pull. But I'll show you. So for example, on these services, let's just go to my house, right?
Mhm.
8293 South, 1390 East, Sandy, Utah. So you should be able to just pull up the address of the property. And if
Right.
you go to details, it goes and tells you the owner of the property. Okay. Owner
Right.
information. Okay. And then you can take this information, you can skip trace it. You can do a single skip. And it's pretty simple. You just select, it's 12 cents. For ours, it's 12 cents because, I'm on like a more premium one.
Right.
But yeah, you just type in the information to get it skip trace. It's the same thing with batch leads, Propstream batch leads, same stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple that you just
Okay.
type in the address, and I can give you guys the link if you guys want to sign up.
Please.
But
Yes. Thank you.
both of them are the links I'm going to send you. They're free trials, so you can try it, and then after 7 days they expire, and then you have to pay for it. But in our business, we use batch leads for lists, texting, skip tracing, and also Propstream. We have both because we pull multiple lists. I like batch leads more than Propstream, but both are great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let me I'll put that in there for you. Do you have any other questions or clarification on anything that you need?
No, we're just getting started, so baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah. So I just put the link in for batch leads if you want to try that one. I would get both since they're free trials and they give you like records that you can get for free. And then, keep one if you want, get rid of both of them. If you don't want them, keep both of them. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Thank you. Do we have a Sunday call as well?
I'm not even affiliated with Jerry's coaching. I'm just, I went through his fast track program and I help him out. And,
Okay.
so I have no idea. Yeah, I'm sure you guys do, but I don't know. I'm just here to help out.
No, I see you offered someone to reach out to you if they have something on the contract. Is that for everybody or?
Oh yeah. If you, so Jerry has the deal genie, that you guys can submit for him to buy the deal. But I also am available if you guys want to have a deal under contract that you want me to help you dispo. I can help you. But if you work with me, we're going to split the deal because I have to find the
Right.
buyer, I have to take the
Obviously.
title. But if you guys are interested in working with me, yeah, 100% send it
Could
my
you
way.
put your information in the chat, please, as well? The more resources, the better.
Yeah, so this is the website, www.sellyourdeal.io. Once you click on it, I put in the chat for everybody.
Mhm.
You can go in there and go ahead and submit the deal. We'll look at it. But if you really want to be able to get a hold of me for any help, like I can give you guys access to. I have a Discord channel like that's free for people that are investing to not only network with me but network with other people in the space. Because I know you guys probably want to leverage as many people resources as you can. So I'll put the Discord. You probably don't know what Discord is, but
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
okay. I'll share you guys really quick what mine is, so you guys can see like the resources I'm giving people. So in Discord, I've created like a specific community for wholesalers for free, where you can go in here. You can put your deals under like that you have, and other people in the group can, they can JV with you, or maybe they'll buy it. You also can collaborate and network with other people. This is called Collaboration Nation. There's there's free bonuses I give away. There's like free stuff. Like I've told you about everything you asked me, like it's in here. There's competitions that we run, and there's a general chat where you can just ask questions. Because I run my own coaching, I can't always get back to everybody, but like other people in the group can. So it's just a community, right?
Gotcha.
So I think that will help you guys. I mean, if I knew of something like this when I first started, I definitely would have joined and been asking a ton of questions. So let me invite all you guys, because why not, right?
Okay. Now, one more question here. Does Jerry or you or whomever have a program where if you want to someone wants to do fix and flips or fix and keeps, they can coordinate or be joint ventures with someone else who's already experienced, just to get that experience under their belt. But of course, they're coming with their own shares.
It's a good question.
because a lot of, a lot of lenders want to see experience. And if you don't have experience, then you kind of get,
Well, I think Jerry has that in his program where he'll look at deals that you submit and then he'll decide if he wants to flip them or not, if they fit his criteria. And like for me, if you
right.
submit,
But do you get credit for it though? Like partial credit for it?
you mean like you get paid?
Like
for
I
it?
could say to a future investor, yes, I flipped a house because I
Oh.
did a joint venture with XYZ.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, like legit credit, like where it's like maybe you can say like, hey, I work with Jerry, like a large investing company, JLN, and I've done many deals with them, but like, I don't know what you mean by credit. Like
I'm assuming that they will try to look you up to see if your name is on maybe a property that you flipped, or I'm not certain how it works, but I'm just
good
kind of
question.
thinking that they'll.
I've never ran into that. But if for example, if we did a deal together, the JV'd and it had my name on it that I flipped it, I would say you could just reference my LLC and be like, hey, yeah, I do flips with them, and I'd be willing to help you out.
Gotcha.
Or Jerry would as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime. So those are the resources, guys, for batch leads, Propstream, for the free trials. You can sell your deal.ios to JV with me, and the Discord channel has all that stuff in it. Join it. It's free. I want to help you guys out, network with everyone. You'll find out in this industry, you'll do more deals, the more you're willing to work and help others people grow. Because everybody, you never know, someone you might have a buyer, someone doesn't. Like it's always good to be networking. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other questions that I can answer before I teach you something?
Can I ask one question?
You can ask as many as you want. What's up?
Hi. Okay. So I was just speaking with a realtor. I put in an offer verbally. She got back to me. They countered offered, and now she's writing up the contract. But in my contract, I put my LLC and/or signs. She asked me about it, and she was like, "Oh, the buyers asked me earlier, like, is this a wholesaler?" And I said, I just put that in there for protection because I work with other investors, and if like I end up not being able to buy it, they might want to buy it, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, I'll see what they say, but if not, she's like, sometimes it's happened where like she'll terminate the contract, and then the other person who wants to buy it, she'll just write up a new contract within 24 hours. How would I overcome that?
Okay, so you're saying what if she takes out the and/or assigns part, you're saying?
Yeah.
And then you wholesale it and she's like, hey, let's just terminate the first one and we'll write up another one.
Yeah.
That's a good question. What I would do is I would sign something with the buyer that you gave it to and say, hey, we're not going to sign it, but can you pay me like a finder's fee? And that way, if they if they sign a whole new agreement, you can have an addendum signed as well with that buyer saying, hey, he's going to pay me a finder's fee of your wholesale fee, like 20, 30, whatever it is. That's what I would do. Cause we've done that in the past where, we haven't assigned something, but the buyer's been saying, oh yeah, you brought me the deal, and they're cool about it. They're like, yeah, I mean, I'll sign something saying I'll give you a finder's fee of your wholesale fee, except, it's not an assignment. It's just, it's taking care of a title once the deal closes. They title make sure you get paid. So that's what I would that's how I would do it. But I would also say, fine, take out the and/or assigns if you want, and then I would wholesale it like I'm normally doing. And then at the end, I could just say, hey, look, like I just told you, I work with partners. Everything's going according to plan, but my business partner wants to buy it in his LLC. Let's just write up an addendum saying that we're assigning it to them. Everything's the exact same. Nothing has changed. We're still buying the house. And if she's like, no, we need to write up a new agreement, I would be like, why do we need to write up a new agreement? Literally, it's my business partner. Just put in an addendum to the contract. And if they keep pushing back, then I would go the finder fee route.
Okay.
Because they're just worried that you're going to wholesale it. That's all. So if someone wants to take the and/or assigns part out of the agreement, great, take it out. When I have a buyer, we'll throw it back in there in an addendum. It's that easy.
Got it. Okay.
That's usually how you can addendum. I don't know if you know much about addendums, but it's an extension of the contract that they can write up super easy. It takes like maybe like 5 minutes if they have an addendum just to put assigning to, or Lance just wrote double close. The thing with double closing is it can cost you, a couple, the closing costs, right? It can cost you like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So if you can avoid double closing, and you got to have transactional funding, which can cost you some money too. So anyway, double closing is another way, but it will cost you money.
Right, I would rather not do a double close.
Yeah. So-
And then the addendum, obviously that would go to whoever I wholesale it to or the buyer I find, but I would also give it to the real estate agent.
The real estate agent would write up the addendum, or you could give it to the real estate agent to write up, and then she would have the buyer sign it. Not the buyer, the seller.
The
The
seller.
seller is basically just agreeing, okay, fine. Yeah, we don't care if they let someone else in the LLC buy it. It should never matter. I don't know why people matter, like whether they trip.
Right.
They trip in the beginning because like, oh, are you really buying it? But they don't trip if like you've done your inspection, you have a buyer and you're like, oh, we're just buying another LLC. They never care.
Got it.
Any other follow-up questions to that?
No, that actually helps a lot. That makes sense. And then also with the earnest money, the 10-day inspection, that protects that, right? Like that, the earnest money will get a
100%.
title. Okay. Because
Yep.
it's going to be high.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we usually don't put earnest money down until our due diligence period is over. We just say, hey, yeah, we're going to put down 5K, 10K, whatever you want after our due diligence period is over. And then once we've assigned it, they put that money down.
Right.
The end buyer puts it down. Now, if they're like, no, we need the money down before due diligence is over, you're like, fine. I mean, do it, but your money's protected within the due diligence period.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Yeah. One second. Let me show my door. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? These are all very good questions, by the way. You guys got some high level questions.
Hey, can you hear
Anything-
me?
Yeah. Who we got here? We got Garrett.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
So I just kind of want to go on earnest money for a second and ask you, on a wholesale deal, if you're a cash buyer, how often do you leverage that? Because my theory is, I could be trying to get 3 with earnest money, and if I can find a buyer within 30 days or 45 days, I'm never actually transferring that money other than earnest.
Okay. So what's your question?
So my question is, if you're a cash buyer, how often do you get leverage out of that?
With a seller, like how often can you talk to a seller and be like, hey, I can put more earnest money down than anyone else that they're talking to? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Is that a deal closer for you, or is that,
No,
do
not
people
really.
care?
We usually put down like $10 to $100 for earnest money. We don't even talk about earnest money until the contract's being signed. And then when we're walking the seller through the agreement over the phone, because we don't ever just send someone a contract that's like a legit lead or seller and just say, hey, sign this, because who knows what they'll do with the contract. But we're on the phone, me and you, and I'm saying, Mr. Seller, I'm going through line by line in this contract. When I get down to the earnest money part, I say, okay, we put about $100 down just because, obviously we don't put down a ton because we're closing on this thing real quick and we don't want all our money out spread on everywhere. And then they never have an objection. If they're like, well, can you put more money down? I'd be like, yeah, what were you thinking? What do you want? And then they're like, well, could you do $200? And I'm sure I can do $200. Or I'll just say, I'd rather not, I can, but I'd rather keep it the same just because I don't want to have to rewrite the contract. But no, to answer your question, I've never used, there's 2 different scenarios. Like you might be talking about with a real estate agent. If you're making an offer with a real estate agent and saying, hey, I can close in 7 days and I can put $100,000 of earnest money down. That does help against other cash buyers who probably putting down 5,000, 10. But with a seller, I never really use that as leverage because I try to, understand their situation, work with them more.
So Lance, I see you. So I have a scenario, $200,000 house, and I want to put down 20,000 earnest, close in 30 days. If I can find a buyer in that 30-day time frame, would I have to pay more than 20,000? Would I actually have to dish out the 200,000 to close?
Okay, so you're saying you'll put $20,000 down and close in 30 days, right?
Correct.
So you usually have only a 7 to 5 to 14, whatever you can agree on, due diligence period. After your due diligence period is over, if you have one, your earnest money goes hard. So that means you don't have 30 days to find a buyer. You have however long you've agreed with your due diligence, unless you want to risk that money, unless you want to risk your 20,000. So usually you go for as long as you can. If they give you 30 days to do your due diligence, then yeah, just be like, yeah, I can do 20K, 30-day due diligence period, and I'll close in 30 days.
Mhm.
So, yeah, like Robin said, here in Florida, they're asking up to 25K down with no inspection. I mean, I'll put 25K down with no inspection if you give me a really good deal. But if you don't give me a really good deal, I'm not going to do it. Most people that are smart probably wouldn't. But yeah, does that answer your question, man? You have the due diligence period to really get your stuff done before your earnest money goes hard.
Right. But so in Idaho, I don't have to have the funds at the end if I can find a buyer. So if I can get a wholesale deal, it's like I'm getting my earnest money back. So if you had, 50,000 to spend, why wouldn't you just go 10K a piece earnest money and find a buyer within those 30 days and hand the contract to him?
Yeah, man. I mean, you don't look at like you have 50K, 100K, whatever you have to work with. Don't even look at that money as like being used towards earnest money. Like we never put I would say we barely put our earnest money down until we have a buyer, because we use the buyer's earnest money. So let's say today I get a contract and I tell the seller I'll put $1,000 down. I say, hey, I'm going to put down my earnest money once our due diligence period is over in 7 days. Because I'm not going to put it down and then, I find out that I don't even want the house. So then within the 7 days, I find the buyer. He puts his earnest money down. He puts down 5 non-refundable earnest money. So if he can't back out, and I'll take 1,000 of his 5 and use it as my earnest money.
Okay. Makes sense.
So earnest money, not a big deal in this game, because really you just put it down once your due diligence period is over. And if you haven't found a buyer within your due diligence period, you don't have a deal. I mean, you could have a deal, but you're risking losing your money at that point.
Okay. Thanks.
Did that answer all your questions?
Yeah, it did.
All right. So guys, does anyone have a deal that they would like me to comp and then show you how I run the numbers on it to see if it's a deal or not? Anybody have an address, anything? If you do, put it in. I only want to do one. I only got a couple more, 10 more minutes left on this, but in the chat, write in one address you want me to comp right now and run the numbers for you. Okay, there we go. We got 831 Highland Amarillo, Texas. Okay, Oscar. Is Oscar and Rebecca, are you available so we can chat about this deal?
Yes, we're here. Sorry.
No, you're good. All right, so tell me, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to run through this. I just like to ask questions as I'm doing it, so I'm not quiet the whole time. Tell me about this property. What's the situation? Like, do you have it under contract? Are you working with the seller? What's the deal?
No. We just made an offer on it, and the realtor, they didn't like that we were gonna assign it, so they backed out of the deal.
You told them you were going to sign it?
Well, on one of the 10 things that Jerry Norton has us do, I think it's like 10 different deals. When you're gonna make an offer, make sure that these 10 certain things are on there.
Okay.
And one of the deals is one of the deals after the name of the buyer is the assigned to.
When then she asked, that was one of her questions. She also sent a list of questions for us to answer.
The agent did?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's look at this really quick. So what offer did you make them?
100,000.
Okay, 100,000. This house has been on the market for, according to Zillow, 210 days. Is that right?
That's right.
Why has it been on the market for so long?
I'm not exactly sure.
Did you ask the agent?
No, I didn't.
So that's some, if you were buying this house for yourself, would you want to know like why no one's bought it in almost half a year, over half a year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you got to put yourself in the situation of like the buyer, like why isn't this moving? There's got to be something going on, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
So let's run the comps on it. According to these pictures, it looks decent.
Yeah.
So this is how I run comps. I use Propstream or batch leads and Zillow to get a good idea. Texas is difficult because it's a non-disclosure state. So it means they don't disclose what properties are selling for. So you have to use like, you have to use what other properties that are in the area, like what they're selling for as well. So sold, not sold data, but what's selling. So this is a 4-bedroom, 1 bath. You got to be careful when running comps. You can't cross major roads because
Right.
this house might be completely different, but let's just, for the sake, what did you guys have for the ARV of like what this house would be worth if it was completely remodeled?
We had, give me 1 second.
Look at this thing. They totally remodeled this bad boy. That's cool. Welcome to the newly
We
renovated.
had an ARV sale price of 178,608.
Okay. And you ran that from comps and looking around?
Yes, we got 5 comps.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like that's what the ARV was.
Do you want the address of those comps that she did, or?
Nah, that's cool. I can just see from this one is fully renovated 4.2. It's a little bit bigger than yours, and it's listed for 180. I think yours might be like a little bit less than, might be like 170, because this thing hasn't even sold yet, and it's bigger than yours. It's got an extra bathroom, and it's like completely decked out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yours might, well, I mean, not completely. Look at that. It's kind of, they should have finished the remodel, but this area might be less appealing than this area, but we'll just say 170. So I just double check. I go to Propstream or batch leads to double check. I check in multiple areas just because it's good to, verify. So this one says it's worth 135. That's estimated value, which not always accurate, especially in non-disclosure states. So let's go over here. We'll go to comparables, nearby listings, and then you can see which ones are closest to it. Is this a single family property? Is it like a townhome? What kind of house is this?
It's a single.
It's single family.
Okay. So according to this house that says 1 estimated to have sold for 174. Okay. So once 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, about this, a little bit bigger square footage. So 170 to 175. We don't know the condition that this one, because it usually has pictures, but this one doesn't have pictures for us. We can actually look it up and see if there's any pictures online. Let's see. Usually realtor.com has pictures from like previous listings.
They're the ones that I have. Actually, in Propstream.
Okay, so let's see if there's any pictures in here. But they're saying it's estimated to have sold for 174 because this is non-disclosure. Like I said, they don't have an exact information unless you have access to the MLS data. But this one apparently sold for around 174. So let's go down here. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's pictures for us, unfortunately. Maybe there's listing data sold. Anyway, let's just assume yours is worth. So this is the calculator that my company, like we use. I know Jerry's got a deal analyzer. You can use either, you can use, obviously use his because it's included, but let's go to do the math. So 175. Okay.
Okay.
That's the ARV price of the home. You offered how much?
100.
100,000.
Uh-huh.
Do you know how much work the house would need?
Not very much. If anything,
No.
it's the outside because they remodeled the inside.
That's what we had thought. That it would,
There's obviously something going on with this house
yeah,
because the outside doesn't even look that bad.
No,
So there's something up, like maybe foundational issues. I don't know if they said anything corner lot, large fenced in yard. It's possible that it might not, the ARV might not even be that much. This might be a sketchy area. I don't know. There's something, the houses don't last on the MLS this long. There's something going on. Okay.
okay.
So I would ask questions, but according to the math, okay, how much work do you feel like this house would need just for the exterior if that's all you had to do?
I think we did 10 grand.
yeah,
$10,000. Okay, so if you're a flipper, you're going to have to get hard money. Most of the time they get hard money at 12% and they pay 2 points, 2% to borrow the money. And this flip might take them from buying it to painting it to fixing the outside to listing it and selling it. Maybe it take 3 months. They'll probably pay 6%, 3% to the listing agent, 3% to the buyer's agent. But because they're flippers, they might be able to get a discount. So I put 3.5 and 2% for closing costs. So if you were to flip this house yourself and this was accurate, the ARV was there and all you had to put in is 10, you would make $50,000. Okay. That's a deal. That's 100% a deal. If you wanted to make a $20,000 wholesaling fee, you would make 20, the flipper would make 30 if these numbers were correct. So there's something wrong because this is a deal. Anyone should snatch this up. Obviously at 100, which it sounds like they were going to accept. But there's something fishy. I think there might be something where it's more than 10 to fix it up, or the ARV is not that high. Maybe on that street in that area.
Okay.
But according to the numbers you have, this is a deal. There's just two things I would find out from the agent. What is the true ARV that she thinks it is? And what is the real repair cost? And then you manipulate the numbers. Because I mean, honestly, like if this were the real numbers and all you had to do this, you guys should buy this and flip this house. Do you know how to flip a house?
No, not yet. We haven't done our first deal yet.
So if I were you, if these were the real numbers, all you'd have to do is get in touch with a hard money lender to get you the money so you could bring the money. You usually have to bring 15%. So you'd have to bring we'd have to bring $15,000 if you bought it. And then you'd have to put 10 into it to fix it, the outside, to resell it. So you would need some capital to get it done. But I mean, obviously it's worth putting in 25 that you're going to get back to make 50.
right.
So I know they squashed that deal because they thought you were going to you were going to wholesale it, but I would call them back and be like, look, you know, we obviously that's one of our strategies, but we really want this house, like, but we have some questions. And then, you know, possibly just go in this to flip it or get it under contract and then, you know, sign an addendum saying double close it and wholesale it, or sign an addendum later once you have a buyer. I know I threw a lot at you, but this
Sorry,
is
I was just writing down what you said to ask
No.
her.
no, you're good. But yeah, I mean, according to the information that you've given me. Now let's say there's something funky and this house is really worth 145 because it's on a bad road.
Okay.
And it does actually need, like, you know, some foundational work. Then it's like, okay, well, is a flipper going to take on $25,000 of rehab to make 7? Probably not. So that's where I think there's something going on with this deal,
Okay.
or it wouldn't be on the market for 210 days.
Okay.
Cool. So I wanted to show you guys how you run the numbers on a wholesale deal. It's the same thing with a flip deal. And then once you start doing BRRRR, BRRRR is when you buy, like rehab, refinance, rent, repeat. That's what that BRRRR means. Novation is when you partner with the seller. But anyway, that's you guys need to know how to run numbers. So because the formula of like 70% minus repairs minus ARV, that doesn't work right now very well. It's just way too low. I know everyone's been taught that, but like if you were to offer that right now, like look at how low you'd have to be. So let's say the house is worth 175 and you go 70% of ARV minus, let's say 10K minus repairs minus your wholesale fee. Let's say you want to make 20K. Like it's just a lot lower than, it just makes it lower than where you can actually make a deal happen now.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Any follow-up questions for me?
You know how to make that adjustment.
Anybody?
I had put one in the chat.
Yeah,
So
like here.
Sorry, Natasha,
Natasha,
say
yes.
something?
Yes, I had put one in the chat in terms of having access to your company's formula sheet. How much is it, or how do you, I don't know, what's the procedure?
So, I mean, if you want mine, I can, it's a lead magnet that I actually do sell, but, Jerry does give you the deal analyzer. I think inside Flipster, I would try that, but if you really want mine, I can send you the link. So I've paid a lot of money to make that and to build it. But I give it away for $50. So if you want it, you can.
No,
you can
I
buy it.
completely understand. I work with Excel all day, every day. So I know what it takes. So that's why I was asking you, but
Yeah, for sure. So
right.
if you want it, I can put the link in there. But it's completely up to you guys. I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything here, but if you want it, then I can put the link in there.
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. I think I see another hand raised. Robin? I thought I saw Robin's hand raised. No? Okay. She took it off. Let's see. Does anyone else have any other questions at the moment? Hopefully that was helpful. I think it's good to like teach like certain principles or how to do things instead of just talk. Does anyone have any other questions? All right. Well, hey guys, I come on these calls all the time. Sometimes Jerry's leading them. Most of the time Jerry's leading them. I'm just here. But if you need anything, hopefully what the information I have given you so far has been helpful with like what we use, how do we analyze the deals. I did put the link in the chat to get our resource if you want it, how we analyze deals. But completely up to you guys. I'd love to help you out any way I can. Just follow the process, guys. I know sometimes it can be hard calling agents and making offers continuously, like if you're not seeing success, but that's how this business is. These guys that are my company that's doing multiple deals a month, the guys that are doing millions of dollars like a month, like you keep going higher, they just do more volume. So you're just right there. You're starting. The amount of volume and action you're taking is just it's got to keep going. It's got to keep growing as you grow this business. It's not like you can just do it all by yourself. Like you have to grow a team. I have like 7 people that work for me, and we do multiple deals. Last month we did 190. How much was it? 196? I think it was $196,000 last month, in flips and wholesale fees. So, I think I know what I'm talking about. So, if you need anything, hopefully this was helpful. So, anybody else before we head out? All right, let's end it then. I hope everyone has a great rest of the week.
Thank you.
Yep. See you, everybody. Thanks again for coming.